Hi, good morning. I'm now standing in front of the Futian railway station in a southern city in China called Shenzhen. Shenzhen is very close to Hong Kong. I'm now in China for a business trip, and today I'll be traveling by high-speed train from Shenzhen to Hong Kong. Normally, I'm very detail-oriented and plan everything carefully. But to my surprise, I ended up making 3 mistakes during this trip. In this video, I'll share what those mistakes were so you can avoid them in your travels. Let's dive in. The train leaves at about 8:30 this morning. It's now not yet 7 o'clock. I arrived early this morning for one particular reason. Hong Kong officially is, of course, part of China. It's Chinese territory, but it's a special administrative region. What that means is if you need to travel from, let's say, Shenzhen to Hong Kong, you actually need to go through immigration because you will actually leave the border or the territory controlled by the central government of China. One of the reasons why I arrived today so early is that I'm not very sure how long it will take to go through immigration. So I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, because it's now very early, 7 o'clock. So as you can see, the railway station is not yet so crowded. There are not so many passengers yet. Let me see where I need to be heading. I see there it says railway tickets, but I've already purchased my ticket. Oh, here it says railway waiting room. So that's where I should be. That's where I should be heading. If you've never traveled by train in China, here's something useful to know. Before entering the waiting area at a Chinese railway station, you'll typically go through 2 steps. First, you'll need to verify your identity by showing your passport or another form of ID. Then you'll go through a security check, much like at an airport. Up to this point, everything went smoothly. But after clearing security, I quickly realized I had misunderstood 2 important things, making me regret arriving at the station so early. Let me explain. I just went through security without any issue, but then quickly I was surprised by 2 things. First, I was surprised because nowhere can I find an immigration counter where I can present my passport and get it stamped as evidence that I'm leaving the territory controlled by the central government of China. So I asked one of the security guards. He was so kind as to tell me that they have nowadays simplified the immigration procedure for passengers traveling from this railway station to Hong Kong in such a way that passengers no longer need to present their passport at this railway station to get their passports stamped. Instead, when they arrive at the railway station in Hong Kong, they will need to go through immigration there. So there they will present their passports and get it stamped, both as evidence that they are leaving the territory controlled by the central government of China, and as evidence that they are entering the territory of Hong Kong. So I guess that's a quite smart measure. It saves a lot of time. So the immigration takes place at just one place instead of 2 different railway stations. The second thing that surprised me is that I cannot find a lounge for business class travelers. I've traveled with business class before. That time I was able to use a special lounge for business class travelers, but then I was told by one of the security guards here that they don't have a special lounge here for business class travelers because it's quite a small railway station. But I don't think it's a huge issue. But if you would like to travel by business class from Shenzhen to Hong Kong from this Futian railway station, perhaps it's good to know that there is no such facility here. You will have to use the common waiting area. And I found something else that's quite convenient for passengers to know. I saw here behind me, there's a desk with a lot of sockets. Passengers can charge their phones here for free. They can also use their laptops here. They can use the power here for free. Actually, I'll show you the sign they put here. It's a free charging area. So this is also, I believe, a nice touch. So I will sit here and wait for the train to arrive. I have, I guess, about 40 minutes before departure. So I'll use the time to do some work here at this desk. Looking back on my trip so far, I do realize I should have done more research instead of making assumptions about border control and lounge facilities. These lessons will definitely help me in future travels. But for now, let's move on and board the train. You'll soon find out about the third mistake I made. It's about 8:30 now. The train will be leaving in about 7 to 8 minutes. I now go to check in. You see here already a lot of people waiting. The most passengers will go through the automatic check-in channels because they have Chinese ID cards. But I have a foreign passport, so I need to present my passport here and go through the manual check-in channel. After check-in, I began looking for my seat, carriage 8, seat 1A, as shown in this screenshot. At this station, passengers head to an underground platform to board the train. I found it fascinating that I'd be boarding a high-speed train capable of traveling at 350 kilometers per hour, just like stepping onto a metro train. So this is it. It says this is carriage 8. I'm going through this gate, almost like boarding a metro. Let's see. This is 90. I don't think this is the. I don't think this is the. Is this the? No, I don't think this is the business carriage. I'll see what has happened. Just a moment. Well, it turns out I had misread my ticket confirmation. Before leaving Shenzhen for Hong Kong, I had already booked my return trip. Carriage 8, seat 1A was for my return journey, not this one. My actual seat for this trip to Hong Kong was carriage 16, seat 1A. Maybe I just wasn't fully awake after getting up so early in the morning. I could hardly believe I made such a simple and almost laughable mistake. Anyway, another lesson learned during this trip. On the bright side, this gave me the chance to show you what the different classes on a high-speed train in China look like as I walked from carriage 8 all the way to carriage 16. So let's take a look. As you can see here, in second-class carriages there are 5 seats per row. The seats are reasonably comfortable and provide a good amount of leg room. Honestly, if I'd known in advance that there was no need to clear border control at this station and no business class lounge, I would have simply booked a second-class ticket. This is the first-class carriage. I know it might be a bit confusing, but in Chinese high-speed trains, the business class is the most expensive and luxurious, while first class is actually a step below it. That said, first class seats are still very comfortable. They're wider and more spacious, with only 4 seats per row. There's plenty of leg room, and each seat comes with a footrest for extra comfort. Finally, after walking through 7 carriages, I arrived at business class compartment in carriage 16. As you can see here, the business class cabin is on a completely different level in terms of space, comfort and luxury. Earlier this year, I traveled in business class on a Chinese high-speed train for the first time during my summer holiday in China. I was so impressed by the experience that I made a separate video about that trip. You can find the link to that video in the description below. This business class cabin impressed me again. It seems even more spacious than the one I traveled in previously, possibly because this cabin has only 5 seats compared to 6 in the other train. Needless to say, I had a very relaxing and enjoyable journey in this beautiful and quiet cabin. One unexpected thing about this trip is that the entire 15-minute journey was in an underground tunnel. This means there wasn't any scenery to enjoy. If you want to see the views along the way, you're better off taking a ferry or a bus. But if saving time is your priority, the high-speed train is probably the best option. After arriving at the West Kowloon station in Hong Kong, I cleared immigration without any issue. Something special about the immigration clearance at this station is that you need to go through 2 border controls. Let me explain. I just went through immigration and customs. I was not allowed to use my camera there, so I wasn't able to show you what exactly happened, but I'll tell you what happened. What happened is that I went through actually 2 immigration counters. First, I need to get my passport stamped by the Chinese immigration service, the immigration service controlled by the central government of China. And then I went a couple of steps further and I encountered another immigration desk. That's the immigration desk of the Hong Kong side. What happens now is that if you come to Hong Kong, they won't stamp your passport anymore. Instead, they will issue such an entrance slip. You're supposed to keep the slip with you all the time while you're staying in Hong Kong. Before leaving the railway station, I exchanged some euros for Hong Kong dollars. I thought it might be interesting to share with you a fun fact. In most countries and regions, only one central bank is authorized to issue banknotes. But in Hong Kong, there are 3 banks that are all authorized to issue banknotes. Let me show you what I mean. These are both $100, but they are printed by different banks, so they have different patterns. You see on this side you see the skyline of Hong Kong, but here you see an image of 2 characters of the Cantonese opera. Also on the back side you see here a lion. Here you see a building of the Bank of China in Hong Kong. As you can see, the designs of the bills can be different. Now that you've watched this video, I hope you won't be surprised if you notice that your cash looks a bit inconsistent when you visit Hong Kong. Thank you very much for watching until the end of this video. In my next video, I'll take you on a 1-day trip from Hong Kong to Macau. Spoiler alert! I visited many cities in various countries, but seldom have I found a city so nice as Macau. So hopefully, see you in the next video.